Hi, thanks for joining us today for another episode. And we're excited to have a guest with us today who is a dyslexic adult, and he has some very encouraging words for you at home if you have dyslexic children, how to help them, and if you're dyslexic yourself, how not to give up on yourself. I want to bring to the stage Greg Wood. Come on, Greg, nice to have you here today.
Thanks for having me. It's wonderful to get on and just share kind of a little bit of my story. Yeah, my name's Greg Wood, and I'm originally from Brandon, Manitoba, Canada, but I live now in Melita, Manitoba, Canada. So it's just down by the U.S. border. And yeah, I've been dyslexic all my life. I'll turn 41 here in another week or so, next week. Yeah, long journey on it, but it started when I was young. I was diagnosed. Now I can't remember if I was diagnosed when I was 3 or 4. It could be even a little bit sooner, but right in and around that age, I was diagnosed. To start off, I was grateful that I was at least diagnosed and that I had a parent. Came from a single parent home. My mom and my grandma raised me a lot. So my mom made sure right away to go get some hearing tests done and some learning disability tests done. And then went and created what is called the Learning Disability Group or Committee in Brandon, Manitoba. Anybody can go to that place and they can learn kind of what we went through to start with. There'll be programs there. I don't know how good the programs are. I've been away from it for a good chunk of time, but no, I was quite happy to be diagnosed. But then I still didn't understand what was going on. Struggled a lot of my life with getting pulled out of something that I would like. When you got into school,
you got pulled out of PE.
Yeah, out of PE instead of say pulling me out of math or English. But I look back on it now, and I am grateful for the fact that I did get pulled out of that and had the extra learning. Do I still have to spell out or use autocorrect to spell out big words? Of course I do. I'm always going to have dyslexia for the rest of my life. It's just as I've gone on, which I'll get into, my feeling on dyslexia and has changed. So school-wise, yes, got help, but struggled. Was pulled into the principal's office. Well, actually, sorry, let me back up a little bit. I had to repeat grade 1, and at that point in time, I remember we talked a little bit about this before. And it came to mind. I was pretty sad that I didn't get to go ahead with my friends. I wouldn't say.
Oops, you're a little cut out a little bit. Oops, you kind of glitched.
Didn't understand.
Better grade 1.
I was feeling kind of probably a little bit okay, sorry. So in grade 1, yeah, so I had to repeat grade 1. And didn't understand, but what was feeling a little bit low there that I had to go back. Couldn't understand why I was going back. Probably a little frustrated. I probably had a lot of negative feelings there that I couldn't go ahead with my friends and didn't understand why I was held back. Do I look back on it now? It probably was the right thing to do. It was probably smart of the teachers and all around decision on teachers and my mom's part to hold me back. I think it was more maybe the teachers feeling on that, but looking back on it, it probably still was the right decision going back through and relearning grade 1. So sometime in and around from 1 to 6, I was pulled into the principal's office and was told that I'd never graduate out of grade 6. He had that really fixed mindset that he's dyslexic, he's got learning issues, he'll never accomplish anything. So that was the first part of never giving up. And that was both ingrained from myself and from my mom to prove people wrong when they say, something, you can't do something, go ahead and prove them wrong. So
I love that.
Got out of grade 6 and moved up. I had a couple, so that principal didn't stay. Um, he was the start off of what was going on, and then near the end of like grade 6, I think more grade maybe 4 to 5 or 6, there was a new principal came in, and he was a lot more okay with you know the learning issues and helping as best he can. I mean, the at that point in time with the division, the school division, the curriculum still didn't really go towards people with learning disabilities. But when he came in, he was a lot better of a principal, more down to earth, always encouraging. And I, to this day, if I see him, I have probably a first name basis. I could call him by his first name and have a great relationship with that one. The old one, if I see him, depending on the day, with some people like that, they are he'll talk, but he won't necessarily have a conversation. And then my one other one that I really enjoyed really well was my grade 6 teacher, Mr. Stallard, and he's moved about in the school division, and I think now he's a principal at one of the other school that I know of the last time that I was in town. So that was grade 1 to 6. Some struggles, but got through them. What I would suggest to parents, and I know that I'm going to have this conversation with even some friends of mine that are good friends that have learning disability people, find something that your kid is interested in, and then sit down with them and enjoy that and talk about it with them. Hey, why is this important to you? Why does this? What catches your interest with this? I had a great uncle that did that. I still remember my time. It was either a Thanksgiving. I think it was a Thanksgiving, and we rotated Thanksgiving through the family, and it was our time, my mom and I, to host while with my grandma, and I was playing video games, and he came in a little bit earlier, and before I turned it off, he sat right down right beside me, and had a conversation on, hey, what are you playing? What's going on? What's happening in your life, and just made a conscious effort to see what was going on, and I really enjoyed that. Unfortunately, as I moved along, he passed away when I was younger. So again, I didn't totally understand. I think I was 7 when he passed away. I knew something was wrong. I knew something had happened, but I just couldn't comprehend. Why was everybody sad? Why can I not see that uncle anymore? I get it now, but when I was younger, I just couldn't comprehend. So, but I truly am grateful for all my memories with him. He always took the time to sit down, or he would even take me under his wing. He was a construction worker. He owned his own company. He would take me to the company. He'd take me out to dog shows. He would just spend time. So
trying to find out what interested you. Hey, let me ask you.
Sure.
It's fascinating that you pay attention to detail artistically, right?
Right.
Tell me, because that's one of the strengths of dyslexic people. They're either entrepreneurs, they're really good at the arts, and that has many many faces to it, and they're good as engineers and architects. So
Right.
let the audience know what kind of detailed work you're doing, and then share with them what you went to college, because I know about your interest for college.
Okay, so detail cars. So kind of quickly with my my work life, I spent a lot of it in fast food, and I spent a lot of it with graveyard. That worked into going to university. I didn't want to accumulate debt, student debt, so I would only, sorry, I would quickly do just a couple courses a time when I was doing university. So with that, it worked a lot of nights. So it was a lot of my sleeping in class. Unfortunately, I didn't want to do that, but with the graveyard, you got to find somewhere where you're going and where where you can catch up a little bit of sleep. So I did sleep a lot through a lot of my classes. I did pass those classes. Don't get me
Now,
wrong
did you
there,
get
but
accommodations for those
I
classes?
did, yes. So all the way through
Sleeping
my
was one of them.
university, yeah, there was a lot of extracurricular stuff with the university, and I do see that a lot of the universities are tying that in now. I can't remember what it's actually due, but I got so I got extra time for assignments, and I got extra time for tests, and just wherever I could get help, I could. So there was extra people there that could look over my papers if I needed. My mom was a lot of my help. My
Mhm.
mom, I I would read all the books for, say, my history. So I did history as a minor. Speeding it up in grade 12, I got a D in history, just to kind of tie it in. But I knew right away that I was still going to do history as my minor and physical education as my major. So
Because you
just
love
because I,
those, because you love those areas. You struggled
yes.
in history, but was it your mom that helped bring it to life to you?
No, I enjoy history.
Uh-huh.
I quite the imagination you can create of all those old leaders from way back in the all the dynasties, any kind of dynasty or something that is important that's happened in history, say Alexander the Great, all those kind of conquering kind of things, all those empires. Those were all imagination things that
Ah,
dyslexics are very good at, to use their
interesting.
imagination to create anything that they want. So I tied history into that. So even though I knew I struggled, partly my own fault in high school, I just didn't really want to study when I needed to. That all changed when I got to university. I had seen, because my mom working at the university, I had seen one of the history tests. So I knew what I was getting myself into. I understood that it was a lot different doing history in university than doing history, say, in high school. And if I could go back, I would think that I would want to change up the curriculum a little bit with history just in high school. They those grade 11 and 12 years, they don't really accommodate and get people ready for university. They It's a big cultural shock for a lot of kids. I've seen a lot of my own friends that had A's and B's in high school and were top of their class that became C's and dropped out of university just because of
Mm,
the plateau between
yeah.
grade 11 and 12 to get you ready for university. Now I've also seen straight A's and brilliant kids do the same thing in university, but it's usually that culture shock really changes kids. They just can't, they don't understand, oh wow, this is a huge change. So I'd already kind of seen that, so I knew, okay, I knew I was still going to struggle, but I was still going to do history because I liked it. It was something that I enjoyed, so I could latch onto that. So
Let me
speeding
ask you a
through,
question. When
sure.
you hear the statistics that 30, okay, now in the United States, 35% of high school dropouts are dyslexic. Doesn't that speak to something's not being done correctly?
Yeah,
They're
and
they're
just more
losing that
help.
group of kids.
Like that's the biggest thing, is just being more down to earth. Like you could change the whole curriculum in school just to change it a little bit, just to accommodate and add a
Yeah.
little bit more. There's so many resources now that I'm finding being in dyslexic groups, and I'll get to how that came about, that I got into those dyslexic groups really soon. But there's so much resources, and depending on who you connect with, especially with this call, who I'm connecting with right here, is
Mhm.
she's got huge amounts of curriculum for dyslexics. So reach out
Yeah.
if you need to.
Call me.
If I'm plugging a little plug, I'll plug in there. But no,
Yeah.
there is huge stuff out there now. There wasn't when we were growing up, but I do see it a lot now. So speeding through, finished my university degree, but it took me 17 and a half years doing it part time and doing it graveyard.
It's amazing
But
that
I
you stayed
still,
motivated. Gosh.
Yeah. There was times, I mean, my first year, I kind of had older students as friends, so I had to sneak around a little bit in university that first year with my mom working at the university because there's eyes and ears all over the place. So if I happened to be ending up in a bar or something like that, I couldn't I couldn't hide, right? Because my mom had eyes and ears all over the place. So those first couple of years, I probably took a little bit longer. Almost was failed out of university, but still pushed through. Still, because of my history, was kind of my marks that were a little bit lower than my physical education marks, but I still pushed on because I knew that that's what I wanted to do. So once I put my mind to something, I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to do it.
So now
I just
tell the audience about um, your marketing career right now too. So you're doing two jobs?
Sure. So about 3 years ago, my wife came down with some health issues. Let's put it that way, because I haven't talked with her on
Uh-huh.
what I can say and what I can't
Right, right,
say.
right.
But let's say that she came down with some health issues. So I was looking around for something to um, be leveraged and add income into my life that I could do from home. I didn't want to go out. I'd done before in the past graveyard. I'd done a couple jobs. So is she. I was looking for a little bit more time freedom. I wanted stuff that I could do myself that would bring in income, but also that would work towards being able to have my time back, because I know how important time is. Money comes and goes. Doesn't matter what you do or what you work on, money comes and goes, but you can never ever get your time back. So I was looking for leverage, and I
Yes.
found it. A friend actually introduced me to a great network, direct sales, network marketing company that I'm with, in integrated in health and wellness and beauty, and I'm grateful for her introducing me to that. So I did get a vision when I first saw that, but I still wasn't really invested. I still wasn't. I hadn't dug all 4 feet or 2 feet in. I was on calls, but I wasn't really paying attention. So I moved up the ranks, but then I moved back down very quickly because I didn't have a good mindset. It was still very negative, and I just didn't have a belief system yet that was where it needed to be. So it probably was just before COVID, maybe just a little bit after COVID, and I really found a self development part of it, and it's part of this company because you have to be you have to create in yourself the leader that you want to be, to lead the huge team that I want to have, and I'm manifesting a huge team as I'm building in my self development. But
Yes, that's
the minute that I
wonderful.
the minute that I opened the self development, which you would say Pandora's box of it, it completely changed my life. To I just basically the job that I have, I can subconsciously read or listen, not read. So, but I can listen to self development books as long as I want. Usually, it's about between 2 to 3 hours a day, if not more, that I'm listening to something self development wise that's pushing me forward. So the big
Beautiful.
book that I would probably recommend to change people's feelings as an adult in dyslexia would be Carol DeWittick's book called Mindset. Once I read through that book, and the gist of it is we have a fixed mindset and we have a growth mindset, and whatever one we feed is the way that we look at the world. And if we're fixed on something, then we won't be able to accomplish it. But if we have a growth mindset and an abundance mindset, and lean towards that side, anything and everything that you set your mind to, you can create. You have to put the same probably amount of action towards that. I mean, you just can't think it in your mind and you'll create it. You have
Mm.
to think it and keep thinking of it and sending the vibration out, but you also do have to do a lot of work towards whatever it is. So in my business, I have to send this a certain amount or talk with a certain amount of people. I'm in the people business to chat with them and see how I can help. And I love that part of my business every day, that I can go out and all over the world. We're a global business, that I can go and meet someone in South Africa today, where I can meet someone in Asia to Japan to Tokyo tomorrow. I love that. I love to sit down and be able to, talk over this. And, social media has changed everything in our world. We can now go on a call, and I mean, we have, with our business, we have team calls on Mondays and we have team calls on Sundays. And on those team calls, we have people from South Africa to Australia to the United States to, Japan. If we, we have people in Japan, like that's all the places we can build. So those are all the people that we can have on our Zoom calls. So that's an incredible thing.
I hope this is inspiring people, because, and you're not even afraid or shy to be on a Zoom meeting, which is remarkable. I know a lot of dyslexic adults are. And
that
sometimes
has come with the self-development.
Yeah.
When I was younger, honestly, I had to do speeches.
Yeah.
I did. Quivered in my shoes. I had to do speeches when I was up in university. Now with all the self-development that I do, and the time that I have created and will create my huge team, and when I get that opportunity that I'm able to share my story on stage at my company, will I be nervous? Of course I will, but I will also be very grateful for the opportunity that I get to go on the stage and share my story and my story of my wife, because she builds it in the business with me too. And I'm very grateful for the relationship that it's created. It's brought us a lot closer in every part of our relationship. And I love the fact that we're a power couple, building and helping people all over the world to change their lives. It's an incredible feeling. So that has come
we have to wrap this up.
Sure.
So I was just thinking, the inspiration you shared for the audience, that they can listen to books on tape and get inspired, and not, we need to be lifelong learners. And something you talked about was the growth mindset, which is very popular right now. They're teaching that in the Orton Gillingham training programs. One of the courses is your growth mindset. Perfect. And we just need to be positive and know that we can achieve things. We need to, I know the Lord leads me in what I'm doing, and I can accomplish everything he guides me to do, because he will equip me. But we just need to do the hard work with it, right? Not just, doesn't just come to our door. Give me a final couple sentences to the audience, and then we'll say goodbye to our audience.
You know what? Just make sure to just find something in your day. I used to be a very negative person before. Always look at the negative. Oh, this isn't going to happen, or that's not going to happen. You know what? Sure, it's all out there if you want to look for it, but just find something that makes you happy. Go about your day every day, and wake up and just find one thing. Put a smile on someone else's face.
There's so much. There is so much we could be thankful for, and I love how you're so thankful for your wife's in her recovery, and how you guys are working together. And we just continue to keep her in our prayers. I'm a cancer survivor myself, and God gets the glory for that. And there's plenty for us to do. I don't know if I'll edit that part out of this video.
Yeah. You just don't know what someone's going through today. So if you can wake up and put a smile on their face, say, hey, how's it going? Just make sure that they kind of remember that, hey, he was pretty happy today. He made me feel good when, something's happening in my life that's not. So just go and do that. It's easy. Just go make a handshake to someone, put a smile on their face, say, you're grateful for their friendship. If it's an old friend, hey, reach out to them and just say, hey, I haven't talked to you in a long time. How are you? What's going on? lots have gone through like a bad pandemic. You know, we all have, but it's just the way that we approach it. So I want to thank you for, you know, having me on, and you know,
Yes.
I hope that this can inspire, and you know, please reach out, you know, through these. I'm on open book. I'm always open to
Okay.
helping others. So
Well,
if I can,
you know, I
however I
have
can help.
how I met Greg is with on Facebook. I have an Norton Gillingham book. I mean, a Norton Gillingham group. And he reached out to me, and I was asking if people wanted to be on the podcast, YouTube. And if anybody else out there wants to tell their story on my YouTube, please reach out to me. Find me on Facebook and find my Cintron Orton Gillingham Reading Institute group. So we are a nonprofit. Step by Step Dyslexia Solutions is a nonprofit, and we give, you know, inspirational stories and tips on how to help dyslexic children. If you'd like to learn more about it, you can go to our website at dyslexia-solutions.com. Consider making a donation if you'd like to keep these messages going forward. And also consider making a donation to get your child's teacher trained. I have an Orton Gillingham curriculum that I've developed, and we use music with the reading program, and kids are making 1 to 3 year gains in only 6 weeks. And so you can learn more about that. If you want to reach out to me at meetmarianne.com, we can schedule some time to talk. But I want to thank you for being with us today. And thank you, Greg, for your amazing, inspirational sharing today. Appreciate you
You're
so much.
welcome. Thank you for having me. It was
Okay.
awesome. So take care.
Bye-bye now.